Hello, everyone. It's your girl Jay Renee with Prison Riot Radio. I hope that you're doing well. This morning, we have a sister on the phone. Okay, she is going to talk to us about the wonderful things that she is doing in the community and giving back. But she's also going to talk to us about her and I's common link, which is brother Ali DNA Shabazz. Okay, he is wrongfully convicted. She's going to talk more about his case and the things that are going on in the facility that he's in. All right, so definitely, please tell us a little bit about yourself and where you're from.
Oh, yes, ma'am. Well, people probably know my hometown it's famous for the dirty water, Flint, Michigan. That's where I was born and raised. And, I've been out here in the streets as far as community service, helping our people as a community activist since I was 18 and a half. I'm not a spring chicken anymore. So it's been, over 30 years I've been just having interaction just to uplift our people. I love serving our people in different ways as far as just anything that's going to help advance forward progress. A lot of times people talk about what shoulda, coulda, woulda, or who did what. But I think it's more important that we see the significance of our greatness. We come from a great people, and what we can do to put our hands in the plow and just do what we can with our own talents and our own skills, and just put our sweat equity in to invest to improve our community, our own self, and stop looking for other people to do it for us. Mm-hmm. So that's what I've been doing for over 30 years as an advocate.
Okay.
Special needs or elders, seniors, people behind walls. I would say our brothers and sisters behind walls.
Yeah.
And just different things like that. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what actually got you started? 18 is a young age to become involved. A lot of 18-year-olds have a lot of other things on their mind. So what made you say, hey, this is what I want to do?
Well, my mom was always, she was always an outspoken person. And it was mainly because she was a darker child in her household. And she grew up with, like this cloud over her that she wasn't good enough. And so she raised us to be the opposite. She was big on education, big on doing for yourself, having your own. And so anytime someone tried to push her back because she was dark-skinned, she wasn't having it. And so it was an outgrowth of my mom just being proud of our heritage. And then I remember in elementary school, when we had this award ceremony, and all our friends, all my friends in school were really close, elementary, and they called me out to do some type of performance to get an award. And I was like, okay, we're all gonna go together. They said, no, just you from my class. And I was a little sensitive. Why can't X, Y, and Z go? 4 or 5 other friends. We're all sitting together. They said, no, they didn't get the A's and B's. I was like, well, they were helping me with my homework. Why can't they go too? And they said, no, you're smarter than this and the other. And I felt really bad because I knew the only difference between me and them was that they had issues in their household that prevented them from getting that B and that A. When actually they were much smarter than me. We used to cheat off their papers sometimes too.
Right.
And so when I saw other people making a difference between me and my friends because of what, quote unquote, a piece of paper said on performance, and I know it put in my heart to want to help people all have a level of equity as a little girl.
Okay. So you know that when it comes to prison advocacy, those that are incarcerated are often the forgotten population. So what made you decide that was an avenue that you wanted to advocate for?
Well, I think that one of the statistics that has always been full-fledged in my life is that, Black men have been marked, and Black women too, have been marked for whatever reason to be targeted by a system that just doesn't love us since we've been here. This is not a secret. So when I see my people, my family has had situations where we've been touched by the system, meaning that, I lost my brother. My brother was murdered when I was close to 19. He was a bystander. And then he had a little boy. The little boy grew up. He turned the same age my brother was, around 24, and he was murdered. So when you have things like that happen, that I see how the system dealt with the people that made those things happen in life, it didn't sit well with me. So and even you have people in your family, their loved ones, cousins, uncles that are touched by the system, where they're there unjustly. And sometimes my people do something in a business doing. But seeing how our people treated our brothers behind the wall, or treated our sisters behind the wall, it never set well for me. It didn't feel good. So I just have had a passion to help anybody that's less fortunate in the eyesight system, and it happens to be more so about men than it is anyone else. And I love Black men.
Yeah, I know that the brothers and sisters definitely appreciate you for that. Like I said, they definitely are often the forgotten population. So to have someone that's advocating for them goes a very, very long way. So we definitely appreciate you for that. Yeah, so while we're talking about prison advocacy, that takes us to our brother Ali. I met him, it feels like such a long time ago. But I met him last year and he called me up, and we talked and things like that. I did do an interview with him, and the things he was telling me about his case was completely blowing me away. But with conversations with you, I found out there's a lot more problems that's going on with that facility that he's in and him as well. So can you elaborate some of the things that's going on?
Oh, yes, ma'am. Well, Ali, his name is Ali Rashid Shabazz. He's known as Ali DNA because there's the biggest issue with his case as a young person, coming into a situation where he's LL Cool J lookalike, and he just got into the rap game as a young person. His career was about to take off. He did some things in LA and had negotiated his own contract back then, 20 some years ago. That was a big deal. So just to be at the threshold of a young coming, possible like Tupac, and then to have that taken away because somebody misidentified you, and the DNA could set you free, but somehow it can't be found. It's lost. Like, why? What do you mean? We have too many things going on today that allow people an opportunity to get the DNA to release him. But where is it at? Why is it being held back? And just having that name, walking into a courtroom, being from up top from New Jersey and being down south in Georgia, that's a real big contrast as far as mindset. So you have a little bit of confidence. You've been in the streets, you've been hustling, and then you go on this opportunity for you to go in with these people who have marked and labeled you because you're Black, and they don't allow you to have an attorney. They advise you not to have an attorney. Well, that's that was kind of foul from the beginning. Mm-hmm. And when you get into his case, because I do have the transcript and I've read everything, when you get into his case and see what happens from the get-go, walking into that courtroom with the last name is Shabazz, as a Muslim name, doing 9/11, it's like, whoa, now you really marked. Whatever it is, you're guilty. And so from the outset, his case has been plagued with problems that other people may or may not have had because he's a Black man from an area where you have some confidence down in the South where, you're considered a troublemaker if you even speak up for yourself. Right. And that's not necessarily the case. I just want to be respected. Right. So now you fast forward. So from the time he got into that court with the police all the way up until now, there's been some pushback because he is a Muslim. Mm-hmm. And because he does stuff for himself. And so where he's at now, to have, and I'll just be quite direct. When I talked to the chaplain as an advocate, one of the places he was located at, the chaplain made me to know that being a Muslim was the wrong choice. And I can't even imagine. Now I'm talking to you over the phone. Right. And I'm not an ignorant person for you to tell me that being a Muslim is not right. Well, who are you to determine? First of all, religion has something to do with, what the situation is with the brother behind the bars. Right. But if you're talking to me like that over the phone, I can only imagine how you treat our brothers behind the bars. Right. You right there in their face. And so there's always been an element of extra pressure or extra discrimination because he is a Muslim, which is, that's not cool. It's not kosher. And to say it's not legal, okay, the whole GDC, Georgia Department of Corrections, is under investigation by the Justice Department. Gee, I wonder why. To have a number of facilities in GDC they're just not clean. They have issues with rodents, like the New York size rats. You have these things in the area where people are eating these things as far as big bugs and roaches, and then you don't even have a decent dishwasher, and you have just people being murdered every 5 to 10 days on a regular basis. You have you got correction officers going around just threatening people, and then jumping on people for no apparent reason. Not to say this happens to everybody, but I've seen a pattern of behavior where it happens to a certain segment of our folks. Right. Who, if you outspoken, they're going to target you. Right. If you try to destroy you. They try to break it off. If you move from one facility to another, we heard about you. People over here, we do things to you. If you say anything about what's going on, well, I just got in the door, man. What the heck you talking about? Yeah. You can transfer from one place to another. There's just ongoing harassment. What is up with this? If you was out here in the streets, it would be a little different. You could do something about it. But when you're in a situation where you're already limited to your freedom, and you have these extra layers of attack on you, it weighs on you spiritually and mentally. And so it's a different type of animal. And then imagine you're supposed to be there. No way, you wrongfully convicted. So the whole situation is messed up.
Yeah.
And our folks tend to forget about our responsibility. The last time I checked, until you serve the least of thee, then what are we really doing?
Right.
And, I'll send. When was the last time you wrote anybody? You have a pen pal. These are our folks. These are our brothers and sisters behind the walls. So when do we forget about our people?
Right.
When is it okay to say, oh, they just over there, they deserve to be there, or
right.
Or they'll get out whenever? No, we have to fight for our freedom. Ain't free. Mm-hmm. It's never been free. Mm-hmm. And so when are we going to be responsible? These are people who have tremendous amounts of talents and skills, who are in a system that have locked them up. For those who are wrongfully convicted, it's messed up. And even those who are there for doing something wrong, do they deserve to be treated less than human? Right. It's 3/5 views come into place, so now it's profits over prison. What's really going on? Mm-hmm. What is our responsibility? Am I not my brother's and my sister keeper? They just get thrown away because somebody behind the walls? No, ma'am, no, sir. They deserve to be treated with dignity and respect like anybody else.
I agree with you. You said a mouthful there, and I agree with you 100%. That's why they are the forgotten population. A lot of times people throw them away because they're like, oh, they shouldn't have went to prison anyway, or they shouldn't went to jail anyway. Every case is unique, and even if that is where they are, there's a certain amount of humane, civilized behaviors and things that they should have, and a lot of times people try to throw that off. So it's good to have advocates like you and myself that are fighting against the machine, because if not, they're going to continue to do the crimes against them. So again, right. You definitely appreciate it. So let me ask you, what is it that he needs, and how can we support him in his efforts?
Yes, ma'am. Well, we certainly appreciate you being who you are, giving the microphone an opportunity to be a voice for those who have voices. It's very important what you do, and you didn't just start doing this either, so you're much appreciated. And people like Ali just need a chance to get back to court. So Ali's biggest situation to improve is him just getting the funds to have an attorney. Now, by me being an advocate and have had an opportunity to work for nonprofits, since I was 18 and a half to now, and I have my own nonprofit, I'm pretty much a little bit seasoned on grant writing, things like that. And so I've had some investors that come to the table and they put up $10,000 for him already. He needs $8,000 more in order for him to get back into the court to just to see, what can happen. And then you have those things like the DNA that can actually free him. Well, if you pay somebody, we worked with an innocent project before, and the DA office gave them to run around all this type of excuses. The DNA, once it's found, relocated, just run it, just find it and run it. Because it's advanced. It's advanced so much now as opposed to 21 years ago when he first got involved. Right. DNA was new, but right now you can run it. People are getting exonerated left and right, by the way. Right. Largest. So why we can't find it? But if you pay somebody to find it, it's a little different. So to have the opportunity to do DNA tests, things like that a little bit later, or to find it, that's going to cost a little bit more. But the first thing is to get him back into the court with his attorneys. So he has some wonderful attorneys. And he has actually come up with a T-shirt that he designed, the logo himself. And I tweaked it a little bit. So we say, hey, just buy a T-shirt, $20, $5 for shipping, and that will go towards his legal fees. So that's the biggest thing we're asking people to do. And we're open to doing a crowdfunding as well for those who just want to donate whatever they can. A little bit or a lot, it'll be appreciated as well. But the main thing is just to get forward progress, to get him back into the court with some good attorney that will fight for him. Right. And that's keep it simple. So
So how can people find where to buy the merchandise?
Oh yes, ma'am. They can hit me on my social media. If you put my name out there, Maajida, I have like a gray scarf on. As far as my Facebook page, my Instagram, my TikTok, and things like that, Miss Maajida or Maajida Muhammad, and then or they can just text me directly. My number is 818-614-1902. They can text me and get a T-shirt. Again, my number is 818-614-1902. Yes, that's a California number because I live in Orlando. Okay. I've been out here for a little bit over 20 years advocating for our people in the streets as well.
Well, you are definitely appreciated, Queen. And we need more like you, for sure.
Well, you know, one thing, Ms. Louis Farrakhan, he said the people that are out here, and I'm paraphrasing, he said that we're spiritually in prison. We're in bars behind, out here free, but we're not free. So our people who are in mass incarcerated, we ignore them. We forget about them. But he said it's our responsibility to all those who call themselves men and women of God. It's our responsibility to free them. He says our duty. That was a heavy weight when I heard Mr. Farrakhan say that, because I love him. He says to freeing all those who are bound in prison is the duty to all men and women of God. So just text 818-614-1902 to free Ali. Get him back in court so he can have a chance to come home to his children he haven't had a chance to raise. The DNA doesn't match, then let's get it and get him out. That's simple. Thank you.